One time, I thought I had a brain-eating amoeba. It all started because of my nasal irrigation system. I use this neti pot, and you fill it up with water and you squeeze it in your nose and all the snot comes out the other side after you tilt your head. You're supposed to sanitize it before each use. You're supposed to use previously boiled or bottled water for each use.
And this gave you a brain-eating amoeba.
An hour later, my boyfriend Reed linked me this article from NPR. It said that 2 people had died using the same neti pot. They'd used tap water that had been contaminating with these amoebas, and the little bugs were eating away at their brains.
I see. So because you used tap water, you had contaminated your brain. So what did you do?
I grabbed the nearest sheet of paper and began writing an impromptu will.
And what happened when you didn't die?
Well, after a week I knew I was fine. I had other things to worry about.
Other things to worry about?
Like, if I would accidentally cheat on a test or have diabetes like WebMD said.
Didn't it ever occur to you that worrying and stressing out like this was a little unhealthy?
This is normal. This is how I think.
And, well, why did you come to see me?
It was actually my boyfriend Reed that suggested it.
Because of the amoebas?
No, because of the pregnancy thing.
You're pregnant?
No, I've never had sex.
I'm afraid I'm not following.
Well, you said that we have to be honest. One night after making out with Reed, I thought I was pregnant. I knew we hadn't had sex, but it felt so good that to me, I must have been pregnant.
And?
It became the only thing I could think about.
Did you do anything to alleviate your fears?
Like what?
Like take a pregnancy test or talk to Reed about it more?
Well, I took 4 pregnancy tests and they were all negative, so I started to feel a little bit better. But then I began to think about it again, and I started looking up pregnancy symptoms online, and I saw that I had a few, so I must have been pregnant.
What symptoms?
Like my breasts were sore, and I felt a little nauseous after eating big meals, and I had to pee all the time, especially after drinking so much water. I began to talk to Reed about it, which is why it probably made me come see you today.
Ah, I see. Kathleen, would you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of something called obsessive-compulsive disorder?
Like when you constantly wash your hands because you're afraid of germs?
Well, yes and no. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, is a disease that focuses on obsessions and compulsions. So let's take what you said, for example. If someone who has OCD thinks that they'll get sick if they don't wash their hands, then they wash their hands and they feel better. But then that thought comes back that they're going to get sick if they don't wash their hands, so they do it again, maybe twice for good measure. And they feel a sense of relief. They continue to do this because when the thought comes, they eradicate it through relief by washing their hands.
Okay. But I don't wash my hands constantly.
No, but you have obsessive thoughts followed by compulsions. When you read that article about the brain-eating amoebas, did you start seeing if you had any symptoms?
Yeah, but...
And when you thought you were pregnant, you took a pregnancy test. You asked Reed for reassurance. Each of these behaviors starts out with a thought that becomes an obsession. You can't focus on anything except for that thought, so you seek relief. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Kind of.
Basically, think of OCD like this. You're in a forest, and in this forest, you've made a path. This path is OCD. What I'd like to have you do is visit me once a week, and from there, I want to start working on something called CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. CBT will help us create another path in the forest, one that's OCD free. Through this path, we'll be able to help you not engage in obsessive thinking.
But what does CBT involve?
CBT is a way of facing your fears. What we'll do is we'll come up with a list of things that you obsess over. And then we'll do something called an exposure. This is a controlled situation where you have to face your fear.
So, can you give me an example?
Well, think of it like an elevator. Say you're afraid of elevators and you avoid them because this gives you a sense of relief. The OCD thought is that the elevator will do something horrible, crash or something. So, to avoid this thought, you walk up the stairs. What CBT does is inch you closer and closer to that elevator. So, we'll start out by looking at photographs of elevators, and you'll imagine yourself plummeting to your death. And then the week after that, we'll watch people get on and off of an elevator. And then maybe the week after that, we'll have you step onto the elevator, but not ride it. Eventually, the goal is to have you be able to ride the elevator with little to no obsessive thoughts because we've already addressed them.
I think I get it. But how are we gonna get me on the elevator?
Baby steps, like I said. First things first, I want you to do a few things this week.
Okay.
First, no checking any health website for symptoms, no Dr. Google, especially relating to pregnancy or diabetes or anything you think you might have. Second, don't take your blood pressure or your pulse unless you're at the doctor. Third, don't visit the doctor unless you've been sick for more than 2 days. Also, don't ask Reed for reassurance. This will be the hardest. Try to sit with each obsessive thought that you have and let it be something that you get to fight alone. It'll be better in the long run.
What am I supposed to do with myself if I can't do all of these things?
The first step down the new path is the hardest. Also, do you have the tendency to check the coffee pot or the stove to make sure they're turned off?
Yes.
Don't. You have to fight your fears and anxieties.
What if I burn down the house?
You won't. That's what you need to learn. Anyway, same time next week? Well, how was your week?
Hell would be one way to describe it.
That's to be expected. Can you tell me what the most difficult thing was?
Not being able to look up stuff on the internet or ask Dr. Google, like you said. I never realized how much I did that. It was like every time I had a thought about a feeling that I was having, I would Google it.
And did you notice feeling worse at first and then feeling better?
I felt better after I felt really anxious, like really anxious.
That's the point of an exposure. Now I need to ask you, how many times have you used your neti pots since the amoeba thing happened?
That's
what I thought. Here. I want you to hold this.
Okay. Now what?
How do you feel?
Like you're gonna make me use the nasal irrigation thingy and I'm gonna die.
That's good. We're getting somewhere.
Seriously?
Seriously. Now, from a scale of 1 to 10, where is your anxiety level right now?
I don't know, like a 3?
Good. Okay. What I want you to do now is take the irrigation system, hold it in your hands, and say, I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. See, what you're doing is tricking your brain. By telling it that you want the thing that you fear, it starts to become unrealistic. It starts to become something that you see from another point of view, something kind of funny.
Brain-eating amoebas are not funny.
Are you sure?
I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die.
Say it again.
I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain-eating
Say it a
amoeba
few
and
more
die.
times.
I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba
Slowly.
and die.
You need to say it slower.
I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba. What's the point of all this?
How did you feel while saying that?
I'm holding a nose teapot thingy telling it it's going to give me a brain-eating amoeba. How do you think I feel?
No, anxiety-wise.
Each time I said it, I felt a little better. I don't know. It was weird.
Each time we're going to do a little bit more and a little bit more until you're able to face what you fear.
So I'm going to have to face everything that scares me?
Don't think of it like that. Think of it like you're in the forest creating new paths, remember?
I'm going to need a bigger machete.
Today's the big day. I want you to use the neti pot, but with filtered water, not with tap water. So I imagine that you're
No!
Kathleen, you have to be willing to work with me here.
No, what kind of sadistic shit is this?
The bathroom's over there. Now, I won't watch this time because I imagine that you're going to get to a 6 or 7 on the anxiety scale.
Are my anxieties just numbers to you?
No. Your obsessive-compulsive disorder is something I want you to be able to live with easier. It will never fully go away, but we can manage it instead of it manage you. We've got to get your anxiety high each time so that it lessens to about a 1 or a 2, so you can just brush it off.
Okay, I guess I'll try it.
All right. I want you to take these. What I want you to do is pour in the packet and then pour in the bottle of water and then irrigate your sinuses. And while you're doing this, you have to repeat to yourself, I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die.
No way. All right, but I still think it's weird and not funny.
How am I doing this?
I hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die. Hope I get a brain-eating amoeba and die. amoeba and one. Okay. We're going to do amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. Okay. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. Okay. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. That sounds fucking ridiculous. That's stupid. Okay. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. Alright. Good. I hope I get a brain eating amoeba and die. Stupid. Okay. You're fine. You're fine. Whew. That was fun. Good time.
How do you feel?
I guess I feel okay. I had a panic attack. And then after I heard you reminding me to keep saying it, I started to. And then I started to feel better. And it actually is funny. I mean, I guess brain eating amoebas are a little far-fetched.
Congratulations. You've just completed your first exposure.